A very good morning to you and welcome to Dateline Abuja on AIT. Happy New Year! Well, for those who are just joining us for the very first time, Dateline Abuja is a general TV magazine program that highlights on people, places, events, lifestyle around the FCT and its environs. I'm your host, Hauwa Momoh. Welcome. Well, it's New Year once again, and it's time for people to make plans, choices, decisions, and they tag this New Year resolution. But come to think of it, is there anything like a New Year resolution? What's the New Year resolution? A New Year resolution is when you actually make a promise to yourself in order to achieve a goal. For example, you want to start going to the gym, you want to start saving, you want to start doing something to be a better partner or to quit smoking. Any decision or choice you make actually is called a New Year resolution. But how effective is that, and how are people able to keep to their promises at the beginning of the year? Because every day they just wake up. When it's 1st of January, they say, this is my New Year resolution. But Dateline Abuja went into the streets to talk to residents to find out what their New Year resolutions are and what they think about it. Let's take a listen.
About a New Year resolution, it's good for someone to change his lifestyle, because the best way of, if we talk about New Year or whatever we may call the name, anything beginning of the year, it's good to someone to change characters. That is the most important thing for we to come back to God and let our focus be on God. And most of the time, some people believe when we talk about New Year, people believe New Year is a year of beginning, maybe business or maybe where you work. You want to start at beginning. No, the most important thing is for you to let your focus be on God. When you focus God, use God as a beginner in any new year, in any new lifestyle. It's good to focus on God, because when you focus on God, you find things easier for you, because God is the ultimate. Without God, you do nothing. That is, for me, I focus God. And I believe everybody in this country, every woman being in this country, I can advise every one of us to let our focus be on God, so that God will do new things for us. In every new year, when you focus on God, as I said before, you will see things working well. You will see things working good for you at the beginning. That is, for me and my family, all our focus in this new year, we focus on God.
A new year revelation that we pray for Nigeria, that let Nigeria be better than last year. And my new year revelation is that whatever I lay my hand to do in the year 2017, let God prosper the work of my hand. And we used to pray in my family, most especially all our political leaders, that in year 2017, the wisdom and knowledge to rule the nation well, let God give to them. And concerning everything about Nigeria, as we believe in change, my wife used to say, the change will change us for good, and change will change to Nigeria for good in Jesus' name.
Wow, different strokes for different folks. I had a good laugh there. But the truth is that a New Year resolution is actually said or made for the purpose of achieving a goal. So if you have decided to make a plan or to achieve a goal for this year, make sure you keep at it. You're still watching Dateline Abuja. Well, still on our roving eyes segment. It's a new year and all Nigerians are being expectant for the year 2017. Well, we had a rough one in 2016. Some people found it quite exciting, challenging, and some people found it depressing. So we went into the streets also to find out from residents of Abuja and how and what they expect from the government in this 2017. Let's take a listen. And when we come back from the streets, we'll be looking at stories that made headlines this week.
As a year coming to 17, we need new progress from our president, that if not anybody, because when our president is well, all of us done well. As for everything done do okay. If our president doesn't answer a country will not move forward. So we need good thing, not to give us a fake promise. I promise you this, I promise you that at the end of the day, a year will run off again. We didn't see anything where government don't produce for a whole Nigeria. Say, okay, this is one thing that government have done for this country that it will benefit youth. Talk of elders. You understand what I'm saying? So we are pleading for our government. This come 2017 that we are inside. Then they should open border for youth. Budget, they should be released so that a common man in street, food price should be less. You understand? If government bring out the food price down for a common man to afford, go and get the price of what a common something like rice. We can't afford it. They say border is closed. Let our government open border this year. Border for plane, border for food, border for a common man, border for motor to pass, but to reduce the price of fuel in the country. Things are difficult. We pray this year should end up well, not in a bad promise. And it is what we are helping beg our government to do for us, not to give us fake promise every day. Government will go at the end of the day. We cannot afford 3 square million a day. It's not fair. So we are pleading our government, the present government in come 2017, they should do good things so that as individual we talk good about this present administration.
This is goodness. What I want the government to do, they should try and make this change to be on the positive side, not on the negative side, because what we've been experiencing, it has been on the negative side all this while. So they should try and make things possible for the Nigerians. At least, look at my shop now, nobody's coming here to patronize because there's no money in the country. Everybody's complaining, everywhere, up and down, there's no money. So they should try and bring money inside this economy. They should make the dollar to come down. They should make things available for the whole citizens.
So I will speak as the point of view as a youth. I will speak from that angle. We believe in this government so much, and when we all came out in mass to vote for the administration, we believe there will be something positive that will come out from it. So in this 2017, we are looking at maybe the government or this administration providing more job opportunity for the youth, because so many people are graduating by the year. So many youth in the field looking for job here and there. So if they give us room to be able to practice and work,
if the government can be able to provide at least little something for the youth, the level of crime in the streets, look at what is happening in Southern Kaduna, the killings and the rest of them. At least if the youths are engaged in one activity or the other, I believe those things can be reduced. And walk on the street and see the hunger, there's no money. Somebody bugging into somebody's shop to go and steal a bag of rice, and the punishment was, wow, just for a bag of rice because he needs to survive. If there are all those little business that somebody engages or herself in, I believe those things will reduce. At least the government should pity us. They should pity what the youth are going to. We are willing to do something, but the opportunity is not there. They can't give you a job if you don't know anybody. No matter how hard you struggle, it seems not to work. So we are begging on the president and his cabinet to be able to help us, the youth. Even if it's small little loan like they promised to give to the youth to start up a business, going into farming and the rest of them, I believe they'll go a long way to help this country.
Next on Dateline Abuja is what's trending for the week. Going through the activities in January, we have put together some stories that made headlines this week. The Armed Forces Day, formerly referred to as 11/11, and celebrated on November 11 to correspond with the World War II Veterans Remembrance Day in the British Commonwealth of Nations. The celebration date was later changed to January 15th to commemorate the end of the Nigerian Civil War on January 15th, 1970. On Sunday, 15th January, Nigeria observed the day as another memorial of fallen members of the armed forces and war veterans. The significant part of the ceremony is the wreath laying at the National Arcade, Abuja. The Red Lane ceremony was another reminder of the reality of ongoing war against insurgents in the country, in which some members of the armed forces have paid the price in defending Nigeria as well as Nigerians. The wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, on Sunday prayed for families of Nigerian soldiers who died in the line of duty through her Facebook page, as the country marked the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. She also prayed that the labors, love and sacrifices of the fallen heroes would never be forgotten. An angry ex-serviceman in Kano have called on President Muhammadu Buhari to put an end to the annual Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations due to the reason that it has failed to live up to its purpose. The retired soldiers also accuse the leadership of the Nigerian Legion for ex-servicemen for embezzling the annual donations. Captain Abdul Malik Yusuf, spokesman of the Retired Army, Navy and Air Forces Association, said it is a waste of funds and that can be used to help the retired soldiers. Nigerian Turkish College to pay 1.2 billion naira to secure release of abducted staff and students. Nigerian Turkish College to pay 1.2 billion to secure release of abducted staff students. On 13th January 2017, unknown gunmen stormed a Turkish school in IZERE, Ogun State, and abducted 3 female students, 3 female supervisors, a female cook, and a female teacher. The abductors of the Nigerian Turkish International to the family members of the victims, where the demand for a ransom of 1.2 billion naira was placed before them to secure the release of the abducted staff and students. Although the police authorities have given assurance that the victims would be released unhurt. The NLC Nigerian Labour Congress says it's time for the government to review its policy on subsidy that led to the increase in the fuel pump price. The NLC has told the federal government that Nigerians will reject another fuel price increase in view of the harsh economic situation in the country. The warning of the NLC comes as federal government had started paying subsidy on fuel as a result of the increase in the landing cost and total cost 122 naira 3 kobo and 140 naira 40 kobo per litre, respectively, to 145 naira. It had been reported that the landing cost of petroleum had increased from 140 naira 40 kobo to 145 naira, the same amount with the current fuel pump price in the country, raising fuel for another fuel price hike. Police prosecute housemaid for stealing 700,000 naira with broom in Lagos. A 20-year-old housemaid, Lovett Emmanuel, has been prosecuted before a magistrate court in Lagos for allegedly stealing 700,000 naira from the safe of her boss. It was reported that the housemaid used a stick of broom to open the 4 safes and stole the money meant for her boss's children's school fees. Although the housemaid claimed that her boss got her arrested because she wanted to sit for an examination. She was not given time for the exam. She decided to flee. She went on to say that the stolen money issue happened since July 2016 and she had been forgiven until she was arrested while going for the examination, adjourned till January 25, 2017. Well, that's much we can take for this week on What's Trending. You're still watching Midland Abuja. We'll be right back. A story on Dateline Abuja for this week is the decision of the federal government to shut down the Murtala Mohammed International Airport for 6 weeks in order to carry out reconstruction of its runway. The federal government of Nigeria is proposing to shut down the Abuja airport from the beginning of March in order to carry out the renovations of its runway and to build a second runway. Well, with the excuses that parts of the runway are badly damaged and needs to be repaired, well, diverting flights from Kaduna Airport during the closure. Although the government had earlier said the 6 weeks closure would begin in February, but later set it to start around March 8th, and after the meeting with the aviation industry, without any reason for the change of date, which puts questions in the minds of people. Well, my guest today on Dateline Abuja is Mr. OHIS IZERE. He's a career coach and also a social activist. He'll be here to discuss, the implications of closing the Abuja International Airport. It's good to have you here again.
Thank you. It's always nice to be here.
Thank you. Well, the federal government, like we know, has proposed to close the Abuja International Airport. And so here we're to be discussing about the implications of that.
Actually, the implications are quite grave economically, even socially. But the truth of the matter is that we must try as much as possible not to be sentimental in this issue. Let's look at the merits before the demerits of this particular proposal by the federal government.
Do you think we have more merits than demerits?
Vis-a-vis, I think we have, well, on the short term effect of it, you might think you have more demerits. But on the long term, I think there are more merits. However, Nigerians have been so traumatized by the policies of the governments, both previous and current government, and that is why at the slightest sight of any further trauma on Nigerians, you seem to have what we call a backlash. I was listening to the radio the other day where Ohiria of Ray Power mentioned how he stumbled over a document of the maintenance plan of Ethiopian Airways, which is apparently one of the best airlines we have in Africa. Yeah. You know, when you plan to fail, when you fail to plan, you have already planned to fail. Yeah. These people, the government just wake up every morning and do things that they want to do. However, it will interest you to know that the reason why the government is running hills over to rehabilitate the Abuja runway is because of the threats from airline operators that they will stop flying the Abuja routes if they don't maintain the runways. But is it good for us? Absolutely it is. Senator Gimade the other day, who is also a seasoned engineer in his own rights, mentioned that it is possible, technically, from the engineering perspective, not to have a total closure of the Abuja airport. We have also seen the Nigerian Society of Engineers saying that you can actually have a partial closure, not a total closure.
The engineers are opposing to protest against that.
The reason why the engineers are protesting is because they say their grievances or their grouse is that the government did not consult them. That is being sentimental. So that's why I say we should not allow sentiment becloud our sense of judgment. We have to be objective in this matter. I am not very happy that the government will just wake up and say Abuja Airport will be closed for 6 weeks. The inconveniences you will cost Nigerians owing to the economic loss, the man-hour loss, is outrageous. The Kaduna Airport, the waiting lounge cannot adequately even accommodate 300 persons.
We're coming there. So the Abuja, now carrying all passengers from Abuja to Lagos, to Kaduna, to transit as a transit. How possible is that?
It's going to be quite hectic. It will be hectic. It's not going to be convenient at all. Not at all. Truth be told. You know, flying from wherever you're flying from the part of the country to Kaduna.
And how do they do that, road or train?
That is a laughable question. Yeah. You know very well that I have never entered a train in this country before. I see it on pictures. I have not been to a train station in my life in Nigeria here. So I don't think it's very effective because I think some few weeks back I was discussing with somebody who said he boarded a train from Mina to Abuja, and I asked how long, what is the duration of time he spent? He said he spent close about over 2 hours by train. And I think in a more developed society, a distance from Mina to Abuja should not take you more than 30 minutes by train. So I was 2 to 3 hours by train. So I don't think it's convenient because, first of all, these train stations are not even within areas where people, where you have high human settlement. So I don't think it's convenient for you to stop by in the airport, then you now move yourself from the airport in Kaduna to a train station, then, that would be a lot of...
workable for them to suggest
it is workable. My suggestion to the government would be, because this is my perspective. The concern by the government to rehabilitate the runways, it's good. Because if we don't do that, and tomorrow we begin to have air mishap, we start blaming the government that we do not have a maintenance culture in this country. So we just have to sacrifice, bear it, and it's for the good of everybody.
Yeah, but in bearing it now, don't you think a lot of revenue will be wasted or lost?
That is the sacrifice we are making. Obviously, the government will lose revenue, but from both ends. From both ends, the revenue the government is making from the toll gates, the 200 naira you pay for each vehicles and all that in a day. You don't want to know how much that is, and in 6 weeks you will not have that much revenue. So apparently, from both ends, I'm not sure all airlines will want to apply the Kaduna routes.
Yes,
I'm not very sure.
Well, in your own opinion, do you think it's a wise decision to divert because of the security challenges we're having right now in Kaduna State?
Well, the security challenges you have in Kaduna State, I don't think it's not horizontal. It's within a particular settlement, southern Kaduna.
People are still scared.
People are scared, obviously, because you can't be so sure. But I understand that the government is going to deploy security operatives to that route, because we also have a high case of kidnapping on the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. So deploy security personnel on that route. Then the government to subsidize movements. Because I'm not very sure of the kind of vehicles the state of those vehicles you will get from Kaduna down to Abuja, precisely from the airports, so that people don't drop and you now start taking a charter. That would be very expensive. The government can help deploy shuttle vans, maybe 30 a day, with security personnel. That is my recommendation. Okay. If the Abuja airport will still be completely closed within a period of 6 weeks, deploy shuttle vans there for those who will apply the routes. As they drop, there is a vehicle to convey subsidized fee, transport fare. Maybe you can charge 500 naira per head from Kaduna to Abuja, which I don't think is too much of a loss by the government, and convey them down to.
Goods, their personal belongings?
And that is where the passengers too should also put that into consideration. Since you're going to be transiting, try as much as possible to minimize your luggage. You can actually ferry them using other means.
Okay. Well, what recommendations do you have for the government and for people who are flying that route?
I think...
apart from the shuttle van that you just suggested.
My recommendation is this government and successive governments must learn how to plan. Have a 5, 10, 15 years plan on ground. Sensitize your people so that when issues like this come up, you don't have a lot of crisscross of agitations and debates here and there. People just know at this point in time, XYZ will happen, and you are prepared. Not taking people unawares. Let's have a decent plan on ground in whatever sector. Then, since it's already like this, we must just see how the people and the government can meet at the nexus and forge ahead. Let's be patient with them. Is it a bad approach? Is the proposed closure of Abuja Airport for the interest of all of us? Oh, absolutely it is. The safety of our own ways, is it for the interest of all of us? Absolutely it is. So, if that it is, let's support them. Let's be patient. 6 weeks is not 6 years. 6 weeks is not 6 months. 6 weeks is 6 weeks. And if the contractors or the vendors who are going to be handling the project, they should try as much as possible to see that they actually complete that job within the stipulated time frame so that life can return back to normalcy.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. IZERE, for joining us.
Many thanks.
Come another time.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime I will be here.
Thank you so much. Well, that's a wrap on Dateline Abuja for this week. Thanks so much for staying with us. I will be showing you some clips from our last year's episodes.